Barry Roach joins us now, Southern correspondent for the Irish Times. Barry, what can you tell us about what looks like a terrible family tragedy in Kerry?
Yes, Ciara, at around 9 o'clock last night, a neighbour called to this house at Ballyreen in Lixnaw, which would be southwest of Listowel in North County Kerry. And they discovered the body of a woman, raised the alarm. Gardaí were called, and they discovered the body of the woman who's in her 60s in this house, and also the body of her son who's in his 20s in the house. Both had been shot. Gardaí began a search, and they then found the body of the woman's husband, who's also in his 60s. He was found at a field, or in a field at the rear of the house near a shotgun. And Gardaí believe that the man shot his wife and son in a double homicide before then taking his own life. But and to say they're not looking for anybody else in connection with the investigation. They've requested the services of the State Pathologist Office. The bodies were preserved, or the scenes were preserved overnight, and the body remains. 2 bodies in the house and 1 in the field. And it's understood the pathologist will arrive today, examine the bodies in situ in Ballyreen, and then they'll be removed to Kerry University Hospital for post-mortem examination. Gardaí have also requested services of the Technical Bureau, so experts will come from Dublin. They'll examine the firearm, see was that as suspected the firearm that was used. They'll also be checking as to whether or not it's legally held, and of course they'll also be carrying out door-to-door inquiries, trying to establish when these people were last seen alive and when this tragedy unfolded.
And obviously, I'm sure the community is reeling. Do we know any of the background of this case, or are we literally, I suppose, working with the bare facts at the moment, Barry?
Very much bare facts. As I say, it happened or was discovered at around 9 o'clock last night. So it's really, they had Gardaí, I suppose, 2 or 3 hours last night, but everything will kick off today in terms of a full investigation. There were members of the Arms Support Unit deployed from Cork last night, given the fear that somebody was armed and at large. But obviously, when the man's body was discovered and the firearm recovered, they were stood down. But it's still at a very early stage. In terms of background, we're very much in the dark yet, and I presume Gardaí will be trying to establish whether there are any issues in terms of perhaps mental health or something like that, anything flagged in that regard. We'll be talking, I presume, to the family's GP and anyone else who may have any contact with them, but it's still at a very early stage yet.
Okay, look, thank you very much for speaking to us about that situation and that tragic situation that it is too. That is Barry Roach, their Southern correspondent. I'm also joined now by Father Anthony O'Sullivan, local parish priest in the village of Lixnaw in County Kerry. Father Anthony, the whole country is shocked, so I've no doubt the village of Lixnaw is particularly so. Can you tell us how people are feeling?
Okay, now I was called at 11 to the scene, and I said the prayers. And so this morning, as of yet, I haven't met anybody. I'll be meeting people later on. I've met and meeting people, but there is a great sense of, obviously, of numbness, of unreality, of disbelief that this happened. It's personally, I feel the same way. Numb words fail me to comprehend, to express how I feel about what has happened.
Absolutely, and I have no doubt being called to the scene was extremely traumatic for you. We obviously aren't going to name the family on air. They haven't been named yet, but did you know the family yourself personally?
Okay, yes. I know, I met one briefly, one of the 3 briefly, met him twice. I'm here with 2 years, and it was very early on in my time. It was a meeting, and I remember meeting one of them. But I hadn't really met, like 2 years, the first 5-6 months, I was trying to get to know people. It's a big parish, and it's a very caring parish, very caring people. And then, with COVID, one was restricted about, meeting people and that. So I wouldn't have known too, but I would have met that person, one of the 3 briefly, as I said, early on in my time. Yeah.
Okay. Look, Father, mind yourself. I have no doubt you yourself are very shook by all of this, as I'm sure the local community is too. Thank you for speaking to us this morning. That's Father Anthony O'Sullivan there.